The United States is embarking on a dramatic and uncharted new direction in foreign policy under President Trump, signaling a sharp break from the strategies of previous administrations. For decades, America prioritized building alliances and promoting free trade. But now, those traditions are being set aside in favor of a confrontational, America-first approach that puts national interests above all else. Aggressive tariffs and tough trade negotiations have become the administration's tools of choice, designed to protect American industries, safeguard jobs, and force global competitors to the negotiating table on U.S. terms. Supporters argue this is a long overdue correction, believing that these bold tactics will finally bring manufacturing jobs back home, revitalize struggling communities, and put American workers at the center of economic policy. But this high-stakes gamble comes with significant risks, threatening to unravel the international system the U.S. helped build after World War II, straining long-standing alliances, and creating a sense of global uncertainty that could have far-reaching consequences. Critics warn that treating both allies and adversaries with the same suspicion could isolate America on the world stage, spark damaging trade wars, and undermine decades of diplomatic progress. They fear these moves could erode the cooperation and trust that are essential for global stability, economic growth, and peace. As the world watches closely, the question remains, will this bold new strategy truly restore American power and influence, or will it leave the nation more isolated and vulnerable than ever before? For years, the US and India built a partnership to counterbalance China, working together on defense, technology, and trade. Their cooperation was seen as a cornerstone of stability in Asia, with both nations benefiting from shared democratic values and economic growth. But that relationship is now under serious threat, as tensions rise and trust begins to erode on both sides. President Trump's sweeping tariffs, 25% on all Indian goods, soon doubling to 50%, have sent shockwaves through India's economy, hitting key industries like carpets, jewelry, and textiles especially hard. Small businesses and workers are feeling the pinch, and Indian exporters are scrambling to adapt. In New Delhi, many see these tariffs as direct punishment for India's decision to buy Russian oil, a move that has angered Washington and undermined years of trust and cooperation between the two countries. The impact goes far beyond trade. India is a major supplier of affordable generic drugs to the US, and these tariffs could drive up healthcare costs for millions of Americans, making essential medicines less accessible. Strategically, the growing rift is forcing India to reconsider its alliances. Some in New Delhi are now exploring closer ties with China, a move that could reshape the balance of power in the region and have lasting global effects. Prime Minister Modi, facing mounting pressure at home from business leaders and political opponents, is pushing back hard, vowing to protect Indian interests and defend the nation's economic future. A once promising partnership now teeters on the edge, with consequences that could ripple across the globe, affecting economies, alliances, and the future of international cooperation. The Trump administration's sweeping 100% tariff on foreign-made semiconductors marks a dramatic escalation in the global tech race. This move is not just about economics. It's a high-stakes gamble with far-reaching consequences for the world's most critical industry. The policy is a bold bid to rebuild America's chip industry from the ground up, aiming to restore domestic manufacturing and reduce reliance on overseas suppliers for vital technology. The goal is clear. Force global tech giants like Samsung and TSMC to shift their manufacturing operations to the US, or risk losing access to the massive American market, which remains a key driver of global demand. But this aggressive approach disrupts the world's intricate supply chains, putting immense strain on key allies, especially South Korea and Taiwan, whose economies are deeply tied to semiconductor exports. Instead of fostering international cooperation, the policy breeds resentment and uncertainty, risking vital security partnerships and creating new diplomatic rifts at a time when unity is crucial. Ironically, the resulting chaos could help China accelerate its own semiconductor ambitions, as companies and countries look for alternatives to US-centric supply chains. The attempt to secure American tech leadership may end up fueling the very competition it aims to contain, intensifying the rivalry between the US and China in the race for technological dominance. The global tech landscape is shifting rapidly, and the outcome of this high-tech standoff is far from certain, with the stakes higher than ever for economies and security worldwide. Japan, America's most steadfast ally in Asia, is quietly rethinking its reliance on Washington. Unilateral tariffs and unpredictable U.S. policies have prompted Tokyo to explore new partnerships, including closer ties with the BRICS bloc. Japan's vast holdings of U.S. Treasury bonds underpin the dollar's global dominance. Any shift could shake financial markets. This isn't defiance, but pragmatic hedging in a world where American leadership feels less certain. Even the strongest alliances can fray when trust is eroded. Japan's recalibration signals a more fragmented, multipolar world. The ripple effects could reshape global power for years to come. America's aggressive tariffs are sparking backlash and new alliances worldwide. In India, calls to boycott U.S. brands and embrace Made in India are growing, fueled by anger and nationalism. Former rivals like India and China are finding common ground, exploring cooperation in response to U.S. pressure. The BRICS bloc is gaining momentum as countries seek alternatives to the U.S.-led order. As these nations strengthen ties, they're building a parallel economic system less reliant on the dollar. The world isn't bending to America's will, it's reorganizing, creating a more complex and competitive global landscape. U.S. policies meant to project strength may be accelerating its own isolation. While Washington debates strategy, ordinary Americans are feeling the pinch. Tariffs act as a hidden tax, raising prices on everything from electronics to home goods and jewelry. The impact is especially harsh for families on tight budgets, as costs climb and paychecks stretch less. Tariffs on Indian pharmaceuticals threaten to make essential medicines more expensive and less accessible. The promise to protect American jobs is colliding with the reality of higher living costs. As the U.S. pursues an America First agenda, the risk is a weaker economy and strained alliances. The ultimate test? Will these policies deliver real benefits, or will Americans pay the price for isolation?